live in the dungeon. This is the Dream Warrior Review. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Mick Strawn. So this was coming out about the time that we were shooting Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Really?
Yeah.
1987. Yeah, it came out in June 1987.
Yeah.
A team of commandos on a mission in a Central American jungle find themselves hunted by a team of extraterrestrial warrior.
By an extraterrestrial.
Let me try that again. A team. One team of commandos on a mission in Central American jungle find themselves hunted by one extraterrestrial warrior.
Yep.
Yes, not many of them, but one of them.
So
Arnold Schwarzenegger, and this is like at the height of his popularity, I think, because that was when he was into cigars and he was on the front page of like Time magazine.
But honestly, this is these are some of the first ones where this is like after Commando. This is the first one where he's actually he has colloquialisms. His language is better.
Yeah.
Excellent. I have to say, and I wrote this down.
I think it's a classic, personally.
I think it is absolutely classic.
Yeah.
The very opening sequence, with them coming in to the shore and stuff like that, is just enough to give any American male a Woody.
Right. So the opening was great because obviously it's a science fiction action movie,
right?
And the opening it just starts out.
But there was something about it that was really honest. I mean, as honest as a film gets. But I mean, the effects, the stunts were not all super dramatic pulls that they removed wires from. I mean, it was.
It was like a Battlefield movie, really.
It was a Battlefield movie.
And
it was straight up. And there was, the only times that, and I wanted to point this out. We, on Nightmare on Elm Street 4, done at exactly the same time. We're doing everything we possibly can to avoid optical effects. And this film is a perfect example of why. Because they use practical effects for the stunts and all the rest of that. But every time that you see the creature, every time the creature fires his gun, utter lameness abounds. I mean,
preach on.
Well,
no, you're right though.
Because I mean, we would always try really hard to do as much practical as we possibly could, and then at the end of it, use the optical effects for the final shot. And now you kind of understand, as looking at this from exactly the same period, you can understand why we're doing that.
Yeah.
Because
that's the problem with sci-fi, because you have a lot of
right. I
mean, if you look at a movie from the 80s, you can totally tell that. But if it's all practical, like a Nightmare on Elm Street 4,
right? But
it stands the test of time a little bit better.
But even with sets and stuff like that.
But we're talking about technology though. So technology isn't. If you watch a movie,
advancing
like a 50s movie with like science fiction movie,
exactly.
You're gonna have cheesy ray guns and stuff.
Oh, right. And in this case, you have Star Wars, that spent a lot of money on their opticals and started a lot of the processes, a lot of the modern ways of doing the processes that were used out through the 80s and into the 90s. And it wasn't so much that they were any different from earlier. It's just that the precision were like the tracks that they used for creating ships in space and motion control, where you actually do two passes in exactly the same place, and one passes with blanks up and the other passes with the ships up, the models up. And being able to repeat those again and again perfectly was a good use for the smaller computers that were starting to come out. I mean, and by smaller, I mean, they weren't the size of a bread factory.
Right.
But it was just perfect that some of the weakest parts of the film had to do with them trying to do their optical effects and so forth. But
as a movie, it holds together well.
Oh, as a movie,
yeah,
right. As a movie, it really does. I mean,
I got distracted by all the infrared.
Yeah,
it's just, they overused it.
They did the triple beam.
Yeah,
that's supposed to. Which now.
Well, not the triple beam. I'm talking about when they were showing the aliens' point of view.
Oh,
it was
right.
all like heat sensor.
They did
infrared.
So I don't know how many or how many of these films that they made.
So I bought a box. I had to buy this so we could review it. I watched the first one, this one, and then I watched the second one, which is actually in the city and has Danny Glover in it.
Oh, really?
And I made it through, but I said I can't do a third one right now. I just can't do it.
Now, didn't one of them have Predators versus Aliens?
Oh, there's Predator versus Alien, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's actually Alien versus Predator is what
Alien
it's called,
versus Predator, okay.
But I thought the whole movie, I liked how the action just kept going, and it was like it was an 80s action movie, really.
And the dialogue was perfectly corny.
It was really corny.
It was really corny, but it was...
But Arnold Schwarzenegger at that time...
he could pull that off. And the thing is Schwarzenegger had such a commanding presence. Did you notice when we first saw him in the helicopter, and everybody gets out of the helicopter, and he's the last one to get out of the helicopter, but after he lights his cigar first, and takes a couple of good drafts of it, and then gets out.
And I do remember like a Time magazine cover around that time. Or maybe it wasn't Time. It might have been Sports Illustrated. Because I think it was Sports Illustrated. But anyway, him with a cigar on the cover. That was
that was
his thing.
Yeah, he was...
so Predator, 1987. Predator 2, 1990. Alien versus Predator, 2004. But I think there was Predators in there. Oh.
You think there was more in the middle?
List. Predator, Predator 2, Predators, and The Predator. But then there was also Alien versus Predator in 2004.
Yeah.
So I guess there's been like 5.
That's a lot of Predators.
That's a lot of them.
Yeah.
How'd you think about how I guess I had when I first saw the Alien,
right,
the Predator,
right,
I wasn't so sure about how I felt about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like when he uncloaked himself and you see him like in all of his glory. I don't know.
Yeah,
it kind of took away a little bit of the feeling for me. Like,
there was a little element of Rosterman. Yeah. I kind of liked it.
I like the noise. For me, it was all about the sounds, like the clicking sounds.
Right,
and stuff,
the clicking sound was excellent.
And the where they did the echo of the voices, like where he was, right, where the alien was repeating their voices.
Repeating their voices.
I thought that was pretty cool. It added to like I guess them being terrified.
Yeah, I think that it. Yeah, because he was actually. I thought it was kind of weird that he developed a laugh.
Right,
by the end of it. I remember thinking that the laugh kind of...
wasn't that somebody else's laugh that he kind of picked up? I don't remember.
It must have
It was
been
one of the guys on I can't remember which one, but one of them was laughing at some point. Oh, it was about the joke. Somebody was telling him a joke.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. It's just that it just didn't...
It didn't really fit.
It didn't fit. It was kind of hard to hear. But, the battle between them was... it was an honest... I wouldn't say that it was an honest Hollywood battle. It was great,
It was like a war movie.
It was,
but just like 5 people against 1.
Right. Yeah, and I.
But it was a horror movie too, really. Don't you think so? Because he was like picking off one of them at a time, like.
Oh right, it followed all the rules a horror movie.
And it was pretty gory.
Yeah.
Especially in the 80s, I think it was pretty gory, wasn't it?
Yeah, especially with the green blood. With
the Lots of like entrails and all these other things you see. It's like ridiculous. I mean,
the skin people and then down. Piles of like their organs laying
I like when the one guy disappeared and they couldn't find him, but they just found a pile of his
pile of like soup. So, is he soup yet? He's soup, yeah.
And then how did he, I don't know, it was interesting that there was one woman in there and she really didn't talk. She was just kind of...
Yeah, I didn't quite understand what they were trying to do with her because she also didn't seem to be on either side. You know? She literally was like a lump.
She was just kind of stuck there.
Yeah, she was...
They just needed a woman.
Exactly. We just needed a woman. And I wanted to...
Should have been more like Reservoir Dogs and just have all men. Just forget about it.
Manly men. Yeah. Mostly manly men, yes. But what I mean by it being honest is there was just... They just started right into the to the action.
Well, there was a little bit of... At the beginning, kind of explaining what was happening.
Yeah, but it wasn't much.
No, it was pretty short. But Jesse Ventura, this had two governors in it.
It did.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, and Jesse Ventura, yeah. Wrestlers turned...
his character was kind of annoying, though. But
it was. But also the friction between Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger was interesting, and it held, and it had that.
It had the classic twist, that you would expect.
The classic soldier banter. It was, and it was excellent that way. It was filmed well. I would just point out that the difference, and what I mean by the honest stunts, is that people fell; they weren't pulled. And I knew some of the guys that went down there and worked on this. People fell out of things. People fell down as opposed to being jerked.
There's a lot of falling, especially like falling into water, falling out of helicopters, whatever.
But it was natural. It wasn't. It wasn't. I'm going to say this. It wasn't wire removed.
Yeah.
Later on, one of the very first things that optical houses could do that was inexpensive and became absolutely common was wire removal. And that actually happened in the early 90s, that they could digitally go in there and just kind of do little tiny pieces of the screen.
Right. Yeah.
And it was really, wire removal was so easy because frame by frame, it was right there,
right, yeah.
Same spot.
Yeah.
And you actually made the wires visible. I mean, actually, you worked harder to make them a little bit more visible than it used to be that we do everything to hide them. But now all of a sudden you're not hiding them at all. You're making it so that the optical people can go in and find it and switch it back. That they can spot it immediately, or that they can actually turn around and optically track it, so that they can automatically track it one shot at a time.
Right.
In other words, you go into the computer and you say, well, this particular color of blue.
Yeah,
you're going to take out.
It's like taking out like a green screen or
right, exactly,
chroma key or whatever it is. Yeah,
and that was one of the first true optical effects. I mean, other than morphing, which
morphing. Oh God,
morphing was
I think of that Michael Jackson video.
There were several videos that used morphing once they used it in the Terminator film, and
right,
about 6 months after that, there was a bumper sticker that started to come out in LA that said "Friends don't let friends morph."
That's awesome. It's true though, really.
It is very true. I mean, it's funny. That was part. I remember that bumper sticker was everywhere, and the other bumper sticker that was everywhere at the time was that my second car is up my nose. It was like, I guess it was a takeoff on my other car is a Ferrari because you're driving a Ford Pinto.
Right. Of course.
So the other car is up my nose is, yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah. Oh, those were the days.
The 80s. Who directed this one, just out of curiosity? Anybody I remember?
Oh, John McTiernan. Yeah. This classic adventure and sci-fi guy. 13th Warrior, Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Oh,
Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, This guy's a classic. Yeah.
Thomas Crown Affair. That's more recent, obviously. But
yeah.
No, Die Hard. I mean, there you go.
Yeah,
that's all you have to say right there.
McTiernan was, he was the adventure.
So I guess that explains why I liked it as a straight up action movie, because Die Hard is one of my favorite movies. Action movies.
Exactly. It was a classic of the time, and I have to say, I never saw it, and this is the first time I've seen it.
Wow.
And I was really impressed.
I was worried that I wouldn't like it anymore.
You know, and you were kind of ragging on me because I hated Hellraiser so bad. Now, there were films that were done at the same exact, because these are all films that were done exactly at the same time as Nightmare on Elm Street 4, and I liked this one, and I thought Hellraiser stuff.
I gotta say, I like this more than Hellraiser for sure.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely,
easy.
Oh, absolutely, not even a comparison. No, I mean literally not a comparison. Really. There's none.
But I think Teen Wolf might have come around this time. I'm thinking. And that was an awesome movie.
No comment. No comment. You and Teen Wolf.
A huge character arc in Teen Wolf. I mean, it was amazing. Anyway.
Subtle is what it was.
It was in your face.
Really? Right? So, I'm saying that to go with Schwarzenegger's greatest period. And McTiernan directing, and Carl Weathers, I mean, I have to say, I would have to put this at a 4. I'm going to say a 4.
I'm pretty darn high too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what do you rate it at?
I think a good solid 4 is a good number, because the only problem I had was just all the what's the word? Infrared vision, heat vision.
Yeah,
it
was.
I thought it was just done way too much. And,
well, the thing is,
but I still give it a solid 4.
there was a lot too much of it before anything started to happen.
Yeah.
And once it got beyond that, then
it didn't quite match the voices sometimes. Like,
yeah,
I guess I got distracted by it more. That's what the problem was. I got distracted by it.
I really liked the part as it came down to mono predator.
Yeah.
Not mono e predator. When it came down to just the two of them.
I like that. He can't see me.
Yeah.
The revelation there.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay though.
It's okay. No, I liked it a lot. I did.
Yeah, I did too. But I say it, if it wasn't for all the heat vision, I probably would give it a little higher rating, 4.3 probably or something. But anyway.
Yeah.
I think everybody should see this one if they like action movies and they like Schwarzenegger for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to stick with all the stuff that I really liked effects-wise in this one, because we're going to talk about the new one, the brand new one.
Yes, I'm excited.
And when we talk about it...
But I hope it's as good as this one.
Well...
We'll have to see.
We'll see. Well, you guys just may peace be with you.
Yes. Hang in there.
Wow.
That was actually appropriate for the movie, wasn't it?
That was the poster was probably obsequious. It was absolutely everywhere. Yeah, there you go.
Thanks for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review podcast. Don't forget to tell your friends about us, follow us, and, of course, like us. We can be found on Podbean, which is an amazing app, YouTube, Stitcher, Alexa on any pod, iTunes, Google Play. We're on Twitter as well, at DW Review, and, of course, Facebook. You can find us there. You can also email us at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com.